Well, hello and welcome once again, audience. We are back. The United Nations Commission on the Status of Women. This is our 66th convening, and we're going to kick off our next 12 days with a very highlighted, high spirited speaker, Cathy Derksen. She's the founder of Inspired Tenacity, and she is a best selling author. She's here with me in the studio today, and she's going to bring us some of the most fantastic things about women creating a cycle of wealth and success. Hello, Cathy. How are you doing today?
I'm great, Yvonne. Thanks for having me. It's so exciting to be here.
Okay, well, thank you so much. And I know you, as well as the audience, they're very ready and excited to get into this. So, what can we expect when we're thinking of creating wealth?
Well, just to let you know, I kind of take a different spin on how we look at wealth and success in our lives. So, to give you a little bit of a backstory on where I'm coming from, I've been a financial planner for about a decade, working mainly in the big corporate banking situations, and came to realize that it's not just the numbers that really create that wealth and success, but so much more of it is how we are approaching it and the information we have to go forward with. Even things like our mindset and the stories we tell ourselves around money have a huge impact on our level of a success and wealth that we can achieve ourselves. So when I'm approaching wealth and success, I approach it from a much broader kind of perspective than a lot of people in the finance industry would. And that's one of the reasons why I left my corporate job to go into my own business. And that's the whole focus and the mission of Inspired Tenacity, my company, is to create a cycle of wealth and success among women around the world. So really to create a global impact of spreading that wealth and success and that knowledge that we're drawing from there. So I really take it to that bigger picture. So
Okay.
in my mind, that all of the financial planning and other things that we do in the financial industry, until women have really stopped and allowed themselves to dream and to take on, what do you want your life to look like? What are we trying to create? Then they're not really attached to that dream of growing and saving and building wealth. So I really focus on that beginning step of take on that dream, really envision, what do you want your life to look like? What are we saving for? Then, hey, let's go do it. So it's kind of a different spin that I like to bring on.
Okay, well, I'm excited. I mean, that's different. Like you said, take a look at the dream, because so much of what we've been told, or so much, I guess, what we've kind of been tracked into doing, and that's just simply, focus on a goal, and set that in mind. Not what do you dream of, what do you want to be, but what you have to do. I have to do these certain things. I have to buy a home, I have to buy a car, I have to take care of children, have
Yeah.
to go to work. Everything is a have to, and you're giving us some time to dream. Okay.
Exactly. And the reason I went into financial planning about over a decade ago was because I could see that there was something missing. There was a piece missing in the financial industry. And I found that a lot of women were feeling like they didn't have someone to talk to. They were feeling that their voices were not being heard when they were going to speak with people in the industry. It's generally a male dominated market in a lot of cases. And so I went into that with that intention of being that woman that could support them, give them that information, hear where they're coming from, and really support them in that decision making, planning, and moving forward. And like you were just saying, that whole part of what we should be doing, and women would ask me, oh, how much should I be saving, or what should
Right.
I be doing, what should my budget be? And it's like, well, until you know what you want your life to look like, the budget means nothing. And again, you can't really, your heart is not in the saving and the development of a plan if the plan isn't anchored in something you have decided
Want
you
to
really
do.
want.
Hmm.
And especially looking at women, say, going into retirement. And again, it's, well, how much should I save? What should my budget be? What should I do next? And I find so many of us, we've spent years and years working, saving, kind of developing that nest egg, but we've really spent no time thinking about what is retirement going to look like? What do I
Mhm.
actually want to do for the next 20 and 30 years of my life?
Righty. So we thank you so much for taking a break with us. And now we're back with Cathy Derksen, the founder of Inspired Tenacity. And she's going to be telling us even more. Cathy, you were telling us just before we went to the break about just the overall impact that having a focusing on your dream, on what you want to do, um, makes such a difference in the lives of women. And I get that because so much of what we have been taught or been kind of tracked to do is structured, and so it almost sounds like we're living in an empty nest. So what can you tell us, to help us get out of the seem like the empty nest of our lives?
Yes, exactly. And I think one of the things that I really, really try to get women to think about as well is that for many of us, especially in midlife, we've kind of got to the point where we've almost forgotten ourselves and what we want. And after looking after everybody else for so long, focusing on careers, focusing on those things, I just find so many women are kind of caught in this rut of just doing life day to day, but not feeling fulfilled, not feeling excited, not feeling that they're really contributing to what's going on around them, just kind of plugging along. And especially right now, after all these years, there's been 2 years now of kind of that upheaval in our life. And I find so many women they're describing it like they're feeling numb,
Yeah.
that they just lost track of their goals and their direction and what they wanted to do next. So as I was mentioning, that's where I feel we need to start, even when we're talking about wealth, when we're talking about success, we're talking about mental health, physical health, relationships. We need to start back at that point of remembering who we are and allowing ourselves to think about ourselves and then step into how we can be of service to others. So, kind of taking it back there. And just wanted to kind of look at some of the slides that I've got here to kind of walk us through some things as well. And again, I'm so excited to be here, and empowering women in this climate change era is a huge part of what we're doing. Here I brought a picture I'm from the west coast of Canada, and so this is a glimpse of some of the beauty we have here as far as the environment goes. And from a mental health point of view, we'd love to keep this going as well. And yes, we're focusing on creating that cycle of wealth and success among women around the world. And this is how I envision all of us standing at some time in our life that, we've got that feeling that everything's good, that we've got what we need. And I think that's part of where I like to take it to when we look at wealth and success and those definitions of what they mean. We so quickly jump to the numbers. We think about, okay, how much is in my bank account? What do I drive? What does my house look like? Whereas I like to look at both wealth and success in, again, that broader look of abundance, of that feeling of, I've got what I need, I have more than enough. And what does that look like? So I think, standing here in this picture looking like everything's great, I think that's how we need to look at wealth and success. So even success, I mean, we often think about, do I have a degree? Do I have a good job? Do I have all those things? But again, are you doing things that excite you? Are you doing things that make you feel fulfilled? Are you living a life day to day that you feel like you are contributing? And I think those are the bigger picture of what we need to look at when we are discussing both wealth and success. So the numbers and the money is part of it, but there's so much more to it.
One of the things that comes to mind, and that is this: how do we move away, Cathy, from move into, I should say, I, me, self, and move away from the comparison of my life to another person's life, or my life to what life should be like, to mainstream, or you should be like this, or you should do it this way, or do it that way, or they're doing it this way, or they're doing it that way. This is the trend. How can we move to I, me, self? And here's the big clicker with that, and I'm pretty sure the audience is interested, and not feel selfish.
Well, that's just it. And so much of that is built around messages we've been told from childhood. And, again, whether it's our relationship with money, whether it's our relationship with ourselves or other people, so much of that comes from the messages we're telling ourselves, those things that we were told as children about, whether, oh, don't be bossy, or don't be conceited, don't be, don't. And again, like you say, that how can we do that without feeling guilt? And I think for women especially, I think guilt and shame have become a huge part of our reality. Parts of that are connected to our culture and the West, of, with the TV shows that are watched, with the images that we're given. So much of that is, if you're not doing this, then you don't have enough. And of course, that's part of the marketing trends as well, telling us what we don't have and that we need to have it. So we've kind of been immersed in this culture that's telling us what's wrong with us. And it becomes just drilled into our heads that if you don't have this, then you're not enough. And I think that's where we need to really take control of that. We need to recognize that, and we need to stop and remind ourselves, what do I have? Do I have enough? Am I in a state of abundance, or am I in a state of lack? And again, we've been so programmed to feel in that state of lack. So I don't have enough time, I don't have enough money, I don't have enough love, I don't have enough friends, I don't have enough,
Right.
it's just been drilled into us. And so I think we need to start by recognizing that, and then stopping and thinking. And it actually is very useful to go through almost a daily routine of thinking about what are you grateful for? What do I have? What are the successes that I've accomplished? And especially, again, going back to those definitions of wealth and success, I find so many of us, we don't acknowledge our successes. We don't celebrate the wins that we do have in life. And so we're often feeling that we're lacking in success and accomplishment and moving forward. Whereas, again, if we stop and we actually write it down, track it, think about it, what have you accomplished? Whether it's this month, in the last 10 years, today, yesterday. But the more we actually think about it and slow down and really absorb where our successes are, what kind of wealth we're surrounded by, it's amazing how it can shift how we feel about where we're at. And yes, I think it also, when we go to looking at guilt and shame, again, stopping for a second and recognizing that until we're looking after ourselves, we really can't look after the people around us. When we're feeling stressed, when we're feeling exhausted, when we're feeling drained, then it's so hard to give anything else, and that energy and that time and that commitment to others, whether it's our family, whether it's our job, whether it's the community.
Mm-hmm.
So really backing it up and looking at it from that perspective, that we're not being selfish by
All
trying
right.
to look after ourselves. So
Okay. Well, that's good. That's good. So let's take a look here.
take a look.
Yes. You have your next slide.
Oh, okay, there. So to me, this is where we really need to focus. And whether we're looking at global change, whether we're looking at our own life or our family or our community, this message to me is one of the most important ones that we need to keep in mind. And it's, so don't ask what the world needs, but ask what makes you come alive. Then go do it. Because what the world needs is more people who have come alive. And getting back to that whole thing of thinking about what you need, what inspires you, what excites you, what are those things that you want to create your life around? Because until you've really clarified that, moving forward into success and into wealth and building those things, and again looking at community and contribution, what really makes a life that is successful has to be around what makes you come alive. So that's a huge part of where I like to focus, again, that beginning of what makes you come alive. Don't worry about what others say you should do. Don't worry about what you're supposed to do. All back to the shoulds that we were talking about earlier. But what makes you come alive? What excites you? Let's go from there.
Okay.
And then I was just gonna get into some of my freebies and things like that. So I really wanted to encourage women to, again, take that time, slow down for a second, and think about where you want to go next. And one of the big things that I find has helped me a lot in my journey through these different kind of phases and personal development has been to connect with a community of people that are going in that direction. So people that are trying to move forward, people that are trying to, personal development and changes of that sort. I find quite often when women really want to take on a big change in their life, whether it is, a different lifestyle, whether it's, saving for something different, whether it's actually a career change that might be more along the right lines for them, I find quite often our immediate family and friends might not always be the most supportive. And in most cases, they're not trying to hold you back, and they're not trying to discourage you. They're trying to keep you safe. So in most cases, they're trying to protect you by not encouraging you to step out and try something new and, just live a different life. So I find it's really helpful to actually reach out and find a community who is supportive, who is encouraging, who wants to help you learn and expand and step into that growth phase.
Yeah, and I agree with that wholeheartedly, because you're absolutely right. And many times that's the first community that people go to, are those people who are closest to them. And, for one reason, yes, they do want to protect you. And then another reason, they don't want to lose you there helping them do what they do.
Yes,
And so,
exactly.
it becomes a two-edged sword. So, yes, you must go out. You have to step outside of that comfort zone and get into those places and do those things that, are discomforting to you. And one of the things that we have, with the UN, the CSW 66 this year is up under the climate change. And this is a beautiful, picture that you have here, because it speaks to, one of the growing issues that we have is with the water. Our water table is rising as the glaciers are melting, and that's beginning to cause effect around the world in different ways, whether that be the volcanoes erupting in places, tsunamis, taking over in places. All these things are going to move, and these are some of the things that, as I'm thinking about what you're saying here, as far as what you do, what makes you come alive, instead of just saying necessarily, okay, I'll go and help, because most women would say they'll go and help with those different relief efforts, and they'll be the first ones to come in and volunteer at the Red Cross and do all that. But is that making you come to life? Is that making you, is that what you really want to do? Because there's so much that needs to be done that across, all spectrums, I'm very certain that someone could find something that they like and they enjoy, and then, like Cathy is telling us, go and do that. If that's what you enjoy, what you should do, you can help with any effort that's out there, but do that part that pleases you and not the part that you should do, or the part that, that everybody else looks to be doing, or the trending part, but find out, what is it that I want and go do that. And yes, Cathy, I would like to see some of the things that you did bring with you. And I'm very certain that the audience would like to see, what are some of the offers or giveaways that you
Mhm.
have that they can enjoy.
Yes, yes. And just before I get to that, there's one more thing that came to my mind that I really want to make sure that we look at and address is I find right now that I think a lot of women are having trouble finding a place where they feel safe in actually being honest with themselves and actually saying how they're really feeling and what's really going on for them and holding them back and moving forward. And again, especially where we're at right now with the COVID situation and people being kind of in that numbness, is that I find that a lot of women are feeling very stressed and almost angry and frustrated. But in most cases, we're not supposed to feel like that. We're not supposed to, we're supposed to be the rock that holds everybody else up. So that's one of the other things that I've made sure that I bring into my programs is creating that safe place where women can come in and be honest with how they're feeling and what's going on and what they actually want to do and change in their life. Because again, I find that that's something that's missing for so many women,
Do you
having
think
that
that it's
place to be honest.
missing because they don't feel safe, or they're not honest with themselves, or they're afraid that if I speak this truth, now I've got to do something about it?
Yes, and now it's real. Yes. There's that, and I find too just the side that for many of us we are the one holding everyone else together, that we're the one that everybody else is coming to for that safety and support. So if we start looking like we're having trouble and we're stressed and angry that or just scared, that kind of can tip others off on their sides as well. So yes, so let's just hop over here. So one of the freebies that I've got that's listed on the landing page that we've got for the event is this is my personalized roadmap to reignite your life. So basically what this is, we get together on Zoom and we start this whole conversation about where you're at, what you need to be changing or what you feel your calling is or the direction things are going. And so we start that process of that dreaming, that giving yourself that permission, and we start putting together some of the issues around the financial side of that as well. But again, the planning, the dreaming, the imagining, and then moving forward into the rest. So this is kind of that get started, start a roadmap, see what's coming up next, and if it makes sense, we can carry on and work from there. And if you feel like this is something that's really going to get you started, then you can head off on that too. So this is one of the freebies that I've got there for everyone to enjoy. And I've included my contact information, and that's also on the website. And for my 3-month program, I'm offering as well a $500 discount for people that have come to this United Nations Women event. So just let me know that's how you connected. And that's right through till April 5th. And for the first 5, I've got some free books. So I've actually been involved in 5 book projects already that have gone to number 1, and I've got 3 more in the works right now. So I love to share my books and share the stories. They're all collaborative books that are full of stories of inspiration and just help people to see that they're not alone in the challenges that they're going through, and that there's hope and there's strategies and there's a support, that the community is here to support you in getting through these things. So this is just a few of the things that I have available, and I'd love for you to check out my website and connect with me, especially on LinkedIn is my most common social media that you'll find me on. And yeah, I just love to chat with people, see how I can help. And again, my programs are anywhere from that 1 hour to 1 month, 3-month, and 6-month programs. And the whole focus really is around that taking on that challenge of actually making a big change in your life. And finance is part of that. Money is intertwined in everything we do, as we all know.
Yes.
But really looking at all those other pieces of your life and then giving you that support and that safe place to actually move through that change and change those habits, change those mindsets, and come out the other end of the program with a very different feel to your life.
Okay. Well, very good. Well, thank you so much, Cathy Derksen. I have truly enjoyed your being here on the United Nations CSW for number 66. And we really thank you for your support, supporting us, through this time, with what's going on with our initiative and our goal. And this is going to help us get to goal. And audience, definitely everything will be up and available for you. And as you know, the conference is going on from March 14th until March 26th. So you want to make certain that you click on all of her different ways and you connect with Cathy and start living the life that you want to live. Build your wealth, build your success. But in order to build that, like she says, you have to do what it is that you want to do. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me. It's an honor to be part of United Nations Women Group.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Cathy. We appreciate you being here with us.